episode 10 of Brutal Truths with New Hampshire Representative Kevin Verville. Well, I guess you can't really say. I'm being driven from Boston back to New Hampshire after a long week of business travel. This is our 10th episode, less than a month, and we're at 10 in. So it's like a landmark, right? Because we're base 10 people. So the next landmark's way off. It'll be 100 episodes. So I haven't really talked about myself, and as much as I enjoy doing that. I'm sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. I went to Plymouth State College to be an elementary school teacher, and got conned into being a high school science teacher, and then rekindled my love for chemistry, and basically got a dual degree for chemistry and secondary education, so physics and chemistry. And I also taught some earth science. I've taught public high schools. I was a guest lecturer at Plymouth State. Worked in private industry. I went to grad school, but I dropped out. And but I've been a student my whole life, right? And I miss teaching. And one of the things that I love about my job is that I get to teach the next generation the ins and outs of the industry that I'm in. And but I loved teaching high school science. It was awesome. Great job. Miss it dearly. So the question is, why did I leave, right? And the reason I left is because I got a science background, and private industry could offer me a more competitive salary and benefits package than the public school system, because the public school system has a grid. All teachers get paid the same, and the thing that determines their individual pay is years of service teaching and educational attainment, right? So how far they've made it in college, university, grad school, etc. And so you find your position on that grid. I've been teaching for 10 years, and I got a master's degree plus another 30 master's credits, and boom, that's your salary. It doesn't matter if you're teaching home ec, English, math, science, gym, art, did I say art, music, whatever you're teaching, everybody gets paid the same. So if you have a subject that's in high demand, and there's a quote-unquote shortage of teachers, the districts have no way to offer competitive salary because it's union negotiated. That it's a fixed salary. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that we ever made in public education, was treating all teachers the same relative to salary. Right? Well, if you don't do that, it's not fair. It's not equitable. But then you can't find highly qualified people in the subjects that are in high demand, right? Somebody with a math degree, chemistry degree, physics degree, engineering degree, foreign languages in a lot of examples, even English is a major for technical writers and stuff like that for industry. These people are in high demand, and they command competitive wages, and the school system cannot compete with that. And we shouldn't be paying every teacher the same amount based on years of service and based on educational attainment. We should be paying teachers like we pay in the private sector, based on performance, right? If you're an excellent teacher, you should get paid more money than somebody that's a lackluster teacher. And if you're teaching in a subject where it's hard to find experts to teach that subject, then they should pay those people. They should be able to offer those people more money to try to attract them into teaching. But they can't. They can't, because the pay grade is set, and there's no flexibility. There's no flexibility in that system. And, was I a great teacher? I don't know. I had kids that thought I was a great teacher. I had kids that thought I was a complete asshole. And everywhere in between. And to be quite frank, they're all correct, right? They're all correct, because it's an opinion, right? It's what I think of you based on my experiences. And so, some kids liked my style, some kids didn't. I was a hard ass, right? The bell rang, you had to be in your seat. Black or blue pen, notebook and textbook, and if you weren't there, you got a detention, right? You got to show up on time and do your job. And typically we went till the bell rang. That was my style. I used to line them up, boy, girl, alternate by rows, and as soon as friendship click formed, I moved them around. That was my style. You can like it, you can hate it. I don't care, right? I corrected and wrote pen. That's what I did. But I couldn't be retained in public education because there was no flexibility in the salaries offered. And one of the reforms that's probably desperately needed in that industry is to allow districts to offer competitive salaries if, and only if, they're having trouble finding teachers in those subject matters. And for the most part, most schools can find people to cover most subjects more than adequately, for sure, right? But there are some places and some subjects where it's more challenging. We just saw in New Hampshire, a school district can't find people to teach shop and classes like that, right? That's because shop, carpentry, plumbing, electrician, all of those jobs are in very high demand and they pay very competitive salaries now. Very competitive. And why would somebody that is very good in those arts want to teach high school for a fraction of the pay, fraction of the benefits that they can get working in private industry? They don't. They're staying in private industry. And as long as we don't allow school districts to be competitive, then we are going to lose those people in school districts. That's just the long and short of it. So anyway, brutal truth, number 10. Thanks for sticking with me.